Okay. All right. I don't know how the audio is doing. We'll have to test that out. See how it goes. But we're gonna give this some time. Allow the YouTube notifications to go out, so people know that we're streaming. Hey, we're live on my channel right now. Did you know? Okay, good. And if you're here, go ahead, say feel free to jump into the chat. If this is later on, I'll try to make sure that the comment section is open. Sometimes this thing doesn't allow, it shuts off the comments for videos for those watching later. So if you're watching later, that's fine as well. Today's video, we are going to, hey, Charlie, howdy, sir. We're going to be talking about the High Republic books and novels. Little review, I guess. Little thing. Cold. What's going on? What's up? So we're going to be talking about that and doing a little review. If these stay here, let's do a little balancing act. There. Oh, that's precarious. We'll keep it up there with the force. Okay. So yeah, just all right. We got a couple of viewers going on. Okay, so we'll begin. I think. I know. Also, this is a hangout. This is chat. So if you have questions, if you have comments, you got concerns, go ahead, throw them up in the chat. And what we do is we do this. Joshua, hello. So we'll do that. And thank you for joining. I promise to keep this spoiler free. If there is a spoiler at some point, I will let you know, and then you can mute it. That's also for people who watch later, so you can mute it, skip, doing that. So all this. So I will start off with the waiting to get the books for my birthday next month. Excellent. It's a good gift. So we'll start off because they kind of came out in a publishing order. So that's kind of the continuity that I think that the books were meant to, be read in, but that's my assumption. Hello, Journey of Me. So the first one that actually was released publishing date wise is Light of the Jedi. And it sets up everything. So this is a shared, well, first things first. The High Republic era is what was once called the Golden Era of the Jedi. So this is the time of young Yoda. Not so young that he's still not kind of a master and sort of revered for his wisdom, right? So Yoda's in this era, and he gets name dropped here and there, but he has so far he's had no concrete role or anything like that in any of the novels so far. I have not read the comic books yet, so I can't comment on those. But so this is the era of, if you're familiar with Legends, the Rushan era, Reformation, where there was that big in This is Legends. There's this big war between Jedi and Sith to almost mutually assured destruction, almost, right? But the Jedi technically win, and as such have to kind of reform how they do their training, how they do that things. And that's where more of the training people who are children, infants, comes from. And so for 1,000 years between that event to the Phantom Menace is considered the golden era of the Jedi, or it used to be. And this is the era of the High Republic. This is when the Republic's really coming into its own. They are really trying to invest in the Outer Rims and trying to reach out and trying to build the galaxy and kind of bring it together. So that's what's going on. And Light of the Jedi kind of brings you up to speed on most of this. It lets you know where you're at, what's going on, and then an event happens. Won't say what. An event happens, and there's this, shining space station that's part of the Republic's grand dream of bringing in the Outer Rim into the fold, right? Into the Republic fold, expanding the reach and expanding the protections, as well as, everything, right? Bringing it all together. And so all these books kind of revolve around this space station, I guess. That seems to be like the central point that I've noticed. So all these events are kind of happening at the same time. All these books are taking place around the same time. And they follow different Jedi in different situations, but still dealing. And then there's the big bad. And the big bad is really where so far, at least for me, I haven't finished Into the Dark yet. That's the Claudia Gray one. This one just came out. This is the newest one of the novels, and I haven't finished it yet. I'm not very far into it, but I'm enjoying it. I like the characters so far. But with Light of the Jedi, you kind of get the full scope of what they're dealing with so far. A Test of Courage was for younger audiences. I guess young adults is the genre. Highly recommend it though. Especially there was some conversations on my Facebook, on my personal Facebook, and people talking about not really feeling like a Jedi sometimes, and feeling like that they fail to live up to that, to what the Jedi is, and to fail to live up to the light and things like that. And that's this book is really good for that. I recommend it. It's pretty easy to get through. The writings, it's not small print. It's not a big book. Pretty easy to get through. It moves pretty quickly once it picks up. So I do recommend. I did enjoy it. Let me put it this way. I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed the way it was written. I enjoyed this one much more. Hang on, I got a question. Is there one Jedi they focus on more than the others? No. So depending. Into the Dark, yes. So far, as far as I can tell, Into the Dark, yes. If you've read Master and Apprentice, same author, so that's the kind of writing style and that's the kind of focus, right? In A Test of Courage, they focus on. There's something I don't like about this book. I'm gonna get into it. It's not a spoiler. It's right on the back cover there, but I won't get into it. But yeah, it's focused there. Light of the Jedi does not. Now, here's my complaint about this book: is the way it's written. And it's just a personal preference. It's just a style preference. But it's written kind of in the way that sometimes Star Wars is done, in that it jumps from, like, one chapter is these people over here. Then the next chapter is this event and people over here. And then the next chapter is this event and people over here. And then it's do. And it jumps in between them. And it can be hard to keep. Is this happening at the same time? I feel, is this happening at the same time? Where are they at? What's going on? I don't like the jumping. I like when they focus on, this is more my style. Give me a character. Let me follow along with that character. Let me go with that. Yeah, these are more my style. But the scope of Light of the Jedi is big. This is your foundational piece. This is the novel that's meant to set up the rest of all these other books, so you know what's going on, basically, right? That said, this book also has something that happens in this book directly impacts this book. And then there's an epilogue in this book that directly spoils, that has a spoiler alert for this book. So, it's maybe a little nitpicky or something like that. But this one sets it up. So I didn't like that style per se, but it doesn't focus on any one Jedi, kind of as evidenced by by all these different Jedi. Here, you know, so yeah, it focuses, it jumps around. You deal with different Jedi. You deal with Jedi that don't really have a major part, but you learn their names and who they are because they might come up later. Depending. Again, I haven't read the comic books, so these names that you read in this book might be played out elsewhere. It is a foundational piece. I'm starting Into the Dark today after I read the new comics. Came out this week. I have read the others. I read the others earlier. Spice. And then our cover. Yeah. I really enjoyed, the cover and the art is cool. The idea, like these robes are more their ceremonial robes, because again, whoops, I'm always bad at that. That is the space station. That's meant to be the space station. That's kind of it's called Starlight Beacon, and again, that's not a spoiler. It's on the back. It's on the cover. It's in the cover or whatever. That's kind of where all these things are kind of centralized around, why these events are happening and things of that nature, and why the quote unquote, big bad, which is not, there's no technical reveal yet. Everything is just like, you have what you can consider bad guys. And then of course you have the Jedi, and then you have the Republic, and it's interesting. It's good. I don't mind them. I'm having fun with them. Again, so unless someone had, let's see. The Jedi had to do all the world building, introduce laws, assemble narrative. Yeah. As I said, it's the foundational piece. So I'm gonna get into some things. So my gripe with this book, and this is a Jediism gripe, by the way. This isn't a Star Wars. I mean, it kind of is, but I worry about the impact. When you go through these books, as someone like in my position, right? When you go through the books, you have to consider not just the fun of the fictional Jedi and the story and all that, but also the impact it might have on the Jedi community and things going forward. Is that a Jedi Wookiee? Let me put that. Is that a Jedi Wookiee? Yes, it is. There's actually, I don't know if that's, I know there's one in the book. I don't know if that's actually the one in the book that kind of plays a critical role pretty early on. But there are, it is a Jedi Wookiee. And I think there's more than one mentioned throughout the book. And then there's one that's mentioned, there's a Trandoshan Jedi and things like that. You really get to, they really made sure to include the diversification of the Jedi Order and kind of how it works. And they're kind of building that foundational piece. So let's see. What's the page count of them? So again, so we'll go with this one. That's because it's in my hands right now. And this is a 229, but again, like the writing isn't big or small, rather. It's pretty standard print, and it's also got here we go. It's also got a couple pages in there that are art. So and that's that one. It's 229. It's not bad. It's pretty easy. I kicked that one out in about a day, really. And then this one, however, your foundational piece, right, is over 375. It's over 375 for the Light of the Jedi, which again I enjoyed. I just wasn't really a fan of the writing style per se, the way that they jump around. But again, foundational piece. And again, that's just personal preference, and then Into the Dark. Into the Dark is 400. This is, 400. So that's, That's it. That's Into the Dark, and that's 400. Yeah, the cross guard. They got a Jedi with a cross guard, and then they talk about some of the details of the lightsabers that I like, and how they reflect the Jedi. So there's details in the book, like when it talks about lightsabers. What am I talking about? When they talk about lightsabers, like more than once, like especially when they talk about different Jedi, they kind of describe their lightsaber and why it kind of fits that Jedi or what they're going for. And there's different, different things like that, Of course. But yeah, I enjoyed the art. I enjoyed the books so far that I've gotten through them. My beef with this one is that there's a 16-year-old Jedi Knight. And that bothers me. And the fact that, and again, that's not so much a Star Wars issue as much as it is a community issue, because if these books do encourage people to come into the Jedi community, there will be people who feel that they should be a Jedi Knight at 16. And as someone who was a part of the Jedi community in the early days with 16-year-old Jedi Masters running around, I can tell you it is not really a great idea. It's not the best idea, because, and in the book itself, like there's and I don't think this counts as a spoiler, but there's no reveal there's no explanation, there's no real explanation as to why this character is a 16-year-old Jedi Knight. So that's what's going on. Glad you made it. Well done. So let's see. Well, Opie, you think no one should be a knight. I think titles are stupid. Sure. That doesn't necessarily mean no one should be a knight. I just recognize that the Jedi path has only truly been around for a limited time of years. But the idea that someone at 16 has the life experience to translate Jedi philosophy into actionable knowledge is optimistic, to be nice about it. The fact is, it's not that a 16-year-old doesn't know better or whatever, isn't smart or isn't wise or hasn't lived life and doesn't have life experience. Not about that. One of the things that I like to point out is when people think, like, I've seen so much and I've been through so much at such a young age and things like that. It's like, yeah, and you're wise for your age, but where are you going to be in 20? How much wiser? How much more are you going to know? How much life experience are you going to be a part of? But to say that I don't think anyone should be a Jedi Knight would defy the point of, this tattoo, which is literally Jedi Knight. So it's not about that. It's about earning it. But titles in and of themselves, organizationally, for a community that's supposed to be about community and not about the self and not about the ego, that's not wielding all powerful cosmic force that could topple fucking societies, it's pretty useless. The titles are pretty useless. So I have a 16-year-old, and I can tell you, no 6-year-old should be in charge of anything, and they probably shouldn't be giving life. Now, in the story or in Star Wars in general, right? There's a difference, right? That's 16 years. That's 16 years of, because you've been training since a child. But you look at Obi-Wan Kenobi. I'm sorry, man. He was 20. He was in his 20s in episode 1, and he still wasn't a knight. And this is Obi-Wan Kenobi. Come on. Now, the point of it, this is for young adults. This is a young adult book. This is for teenagers. So the point of it is to encourage that. And the point of it is to have a hero and someone that you can look up to and someone you can aspire to. I'm not against it novel wise per se. It does chat me a little bit because of Jedi philosophy and the importance of uh, apprenticeship, of learning. Like, cool, you know Jedi philosophy. That's awesome. You have it. There's nothing more I can teach you about Jedi philosophy. But now it's just about living it. Now it's just about building that experience. And again, it doesn't matter how much experience you have already. The more is always better. More is always better because there's always situations, new things you're going to encounter that allows you to be a better guide. So you're a better guide. Look, your fact is, no matter what your childhood is, no matter what you went through, you're going to be a better guide at 26 than you were at 16. And you're going to be a better guide at 36 than you were at 26. And it just keeps going. As long as you're living by the philosophy and working on yourself, it's always just going to go up. You're always just going to be a better guide the more you learn, grow, live, study, and experience life. So I have I got a little personal beef with the 16-year-old Jedi Knight, and again, I worry about people coming in and kind of like making that demand and being disillusioned. You know, the community disillusions people as it is. Adding another layer there of you're not going to be a Jedi Knight at 16. I'm so sorry. And the fact that there's no real reason in the book, like, you know, so that's you know. I was knighted as a teenager. I've turned out fine, but I can see that being a problem in a lot of cases. Would have been better if knighthood had been put off a couple of years. I don't agree with anything. Like, yeah, I mean, as long as you turned out fine. Like, I just, the community is for a very long time, and even now, has an issue with standards and requirements and being able to recognize that we're not saying you're dumb and we're not saying you're not capable. What we're saying is live, just be a Jedi, like just live it for a while. It's fine. You're all right. You know, like you don't need to do everything right now because there's responsibilities that come with it, you know? And the idea of a 16-year-old teaching other people in the Jedi path, you know, having an apprenticeship and things like that. Look, there's actual real responsibilities there. You are impacting a person's life. Like that's, and the problem with a 16-year-old with that, and this is not, you know, a dig at anybody, but the reality is most 16-year-olds don't understand the impact of that the road, how long that will stay with you. You know, certain life decisions, they impact and they last a long time. Consequences can last a long time. And not everybody gets that. So 16's the 10 years. Exactly so. There's nothing wrong with it. If you feel you're a Jedi Knight at 16, that's awesome. But just imagine being 26. It's going to be even better. You're going to be even better, even wiser, even more experienced. Like, it's okay. It's all good. I would probably trust a 20-year-old driver over someone who just got their driver's license at 16. Same idea, right? Just because you have the knowledge that gives you the thing, the experience with it is what translates over. Let's see. Life trajectory was not what I imagined it would be at 16. I can't imagine the path having the longevity for me if I had started out then. Yeah, I mean, some people have stuck with it. I've definitely stuck with it. But it definitely changes. I can tell you when I started out on the path as a teenager, even in, because I was still a teenager when I joined the community, like it's much different. Like it's completely different. 20 is definitely 16. Maturity obviously comes into play, but how many mature and stable 16-year-olds are around? It should be rare. Right? Because look, it's not a dick. Like go out. I wanted to say, go out, be a kid, man. Enjoy it. Go. You're 16. You're a Jedi Knight. Fine, but like go make some. Go do some things. Go have fun. Go with them. I will be 44 years old soon. Happy birthday when that happens. There is no limit to our life experience. True that. Or what is out there to learn. Absolutely. A real knight or master of anything always understands there is always something to learn. True. It never stops. Title means nothing organizationally, uh, but I agree because there's masters and counselors and whatever running around that the reason they got those titles is because they created a website, which leads us to here. Titles can be purchased. Not always the case, but it happens. Yes, it does. Happens both in real life when we look at all sorts of like organizations or politicians or things of that nature. Also in the Jedi community, again, put in the money, buy a domain, buy a hosting, grab JediTempleOnline.net or something, right? Or JediTemple.online. That's probably available. Grab that up, host your stuff, put up a couple lessons, put up a message boards, call yourself a Jedi Master. Who's going to argue you? It's your site. And that is the history, by the way, of the Jedi community, in case you're wondering. That's why we have so many masters running around when the path really isn't that old for that. Is there even such a thing as a true master in anything? Everyone can always learn something. I think master is one of those things that it's just one of those words that's kind of gets lost in the, semantic arguments and stuff like that. I don't think there's any masters in the Jedi community, but we're talking about the reason I think that is just because how long the Jedi community, as a foundational piece with information and texts and things that you can actually grow from, training you can actually grow from, hasn't been around that long. So again, it comes down to experience with it, right? You can know a thing, but to live a thing is different, right? So just because we've known about the Jedi path for so long, right, doesn't mean that we were ready to even teach it. Doesn't mean we were ready to live it. And then through those experiences of trying to live it, of trying to teach it, finding mistakes, doing all that, that's learning, that's building the foundation. So once we kind of got this core of what the Jedi path truly is, it is not up to individual interpretation. There is a core, right? It's a box, but it's a big box, right? Once we've outlined that, well, that box has only been around for so long. Definitely not long enough to say that there's people who have mastered it, because life is tough. We're getting way away from the books here. Has more to do with the writer writing to the audience. Exactly. It is. And it's not bad. Like it's not bad. And it's not distracting. And it plays into the story. And it works. And it shows, to me at least, why maybe that's not always such a great idea, because the knight has her own questions and her own struggles and trying to understand what it means to be a knight. And one of my favorite parts is towards the end of the book, where she is talking with a Jedi master, and there is kind of that reminder of being a Jedi is a continual process. It's not a one-time decision. It's not a one-time trial. It's not a one-time thing, right? It's a continual decision to be a Jedi and to honor the titles that might come along with that. So it's definitely for the book, and it works for the book. It works for the story. When I first read like the back of the book, and it was like 16-year-old Jedi Knight, I was like, I'm not okay with that. But I enjoyed the book. I enjoyed the story, and it works. So it's good. It works. Hopefully it inspires a younger audience. Hopefully the Jedi community grows because of it. So I'm for it. I just, have my own thing. Maturity seems to be rare at any age. I try to be immature as possible. So agreed. Look, and something I will always say is that, and I had a very educational childhood, adventurous childhood. I don't know. at 18, I absolutely felt that I had more life experience and a better understanding of things than some 32-year-olds. Not in that egotistical teenager way, but in that, no, if you just compare life experiences and events that we went through and understanding the world and what we've seen of the world, like mine was here and theirs was here. Age is not always about age. It's not about age. It's about life experience. But again, no matter how much life experience you had, so my 18-year-old self had a lot of life experience. I have a lot more now, like a lot more now. Like it's a whole other level. It's completely, we're talking double, triple level here. So it's not about age, but at the same time, if you live and experience life and you're about digging into your life and it's about learning as a Jedi and doing that, that only grows with age, as we say, right? A master, knight, whatever's title you want to use, knows, a Jedi knows, a seeker knows that learning is a continual process and it doesn't end until we die. Once you end, once you stop learning, once you stop that growth, once you stop that study of yourself, of the world, of everything, that's when you're on your decline. It's going to be over. So always stay. That's the best way to stay young. Is to dig into it and continue to learn. I'm getting behind here. Would imagine a 16-year-old would still be considered along the lines idea of a Padawan within the fictional. Almost everyone. This one, this dude right here. Whatever. Okay, I can't do the. This is why my controls aren't introverted either. Anyways, this guy, he's older. I think he's 18 or something of that nature. Still a Padawan and talks about it, that most Padawans, that's a normal age for Padawans. Again, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Anakin Skywalker, even Anakin Skywalker was older than 16. Anakin, the chosen one, was older than 16, but he did come to the Jedi Order a little later. So maybe we'll cut him some slack there for not being the youngest. So yeah, fictionally, and it's not explained within the fiction, it's not explained within the story, so that again, it's a little iffy for me. But again, I am not the demographic they're shooting for. So within the universe, a whole lot more training was likely involved, but not necessarily involved with the starter. Yeah. So I mean, like, again, they start at a young age, so you start at infancy, basically, right? In this era of the golden era, or the High Republic era, as it's now called, is when they really started the practice of infancy and things like that, and Jedi seekers to go out and look for Force sensitive kids and all that. And so you have that, and yeah, there's a lot of years. There's 16 years of training there. So yeah, I mean, like that's the thing. I issue the title of master even in my apprenticeship. Organization, but I mean, sure. Dude, I can't imagine taking on the title of master. I've seen people take on the title after 10 or 15 years. That's a long time, but not sure it's long enough to be a master by any reasonable standards. No, that would be the standard of knight, in my opinion. That's where I hold a knight. You've been a Jedi for 15 years? All right. And that's after training, right? It's after. That's combining with your life. And I'm talking about Jediism here. That's, okay, I came into the path at 15. Cool. When you're 30, you can be a Jedi Knight. Okay. But as everybody knows, my standards are a little higher than the rest of the community. No worries, no apologies necessary. I repeat myself anyway, so it's all good. And besides, people like to jump around, so it's all good. Maturity is for cheese and whiskey. I agree with that. We all do that. In terms of life experience, it's also worth bringing up variety of experience. At 16, 18, you probably don't have much variety of experiences, simply because could be. I know for me, I had a pretty good variety, but certainly, it varies per person to person, and even still, again, you could have all the variety. And how much more are you going to have in another 15 years, right? So that's the thing. Part of their education and growth, they should do it. They should do it. Jedi caretakers. Also, healthcare. It's important to know these things. Also, learning about different species. That would be a good way to introduce different species and how they work and what they need and the diversity of life within the universe, right? Luke was technically 19 when he started training to be a Padawan. He also technically became a knight like really quickly. I don't know if I would. He. I feel like the original trilogy set people up in the Jedi community to think that training should progress quickly. When maybe it should have played out just a little bit longer, but yeah, like he was older, right? Too old to begin the training. Our own counsel we will keep on who is ready, but everybody's different. Everybody's got their own experiences. You would compare 19-year-old Luke's life experience with Obi-Wan Kenobi, 19-year-old Obi-Wan Kenobi's life experience, right? Completely different. You would rank them completely different. You would put them in two different categories, and still, right? Still, it took some years for both of them to get past 19 and to get knighted. So experience is one of those things. Speaking of Jedi kids, I always wondered what general education was like at the Jedi Temple, like reading, writing, math, health, and all that stuff that we would not consider Jedi training. There's been a few materials which kind of discuss it and things. That just is force tongues. Okay, that might be a thing. But yeah, like when we look at the Jedi Apprentice series with Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, that we get a bit of that like general education that goes on about learning how the Force works. In these books, we hear how there's like pilot training and language training and that, but that they very much cater to Jedi skills. Not while there's a basic core curriculum, it's not expected that every Jedi be a cookie cutter version of themselves and be exactly the same. In fact, this one kind of starts off addressing that because the what I assume to be the main character is very much not your swashbuckling, looking to be the dashing warrior out saving the galaxy from dangers. He's like, I will happily read the Jedi histories about Jedi doing that, but that's not for me. So it talks about not having to be the same and not having to do that. And then I think there's ones in here that talk about how different Jedi excel in different areas. I think all three of them talk about how like everybody has their own strengths, everybody has their own weaknesses, everybody has things that they excel at and things like that, and that's kind of catered to, which I think is important. What we need in education today is to cater to people's talents and things like that. My ancient druids training took at least 20 years, and they studied everything, and the different titles were merely focuses. Yeah. When we're talking about like Jediism, if that's what we're going to talk about, is that it's just about becoming comfortable with it. Where people struggle, where people feel they aren't a Jedi is because they hit situations and they feel they didn't act within a certain way, or they didn't do a certain thing, or they felt conflicting emotions or things like that, which again, really recommend this book due to like if you struggle with that kind of stuff, like, oh, I didn't act like a Jedi, or oh, I had some like dark stuff or whatever. Recommend this one because it actually helps address some of that stuff in a very easy to digest form, because again, audience isn't me, right? And And it's one of those things where it is just about learning to kind of have those quick shorthands. So you can do the Jedi method. The Jedi method is a very in-depth thing, but I mean, it's very simple, right? It's Jedi intent plus Jedi action equals Jedi outcome. That's very simple. That's very quick. It's a quick reminder. It's a quick self-check. When you're in a situation, you have to make a tough decision, and you're just like, all right, what's the Jedi intent here? Okay, what's the Jedi action then? What aligns with that? And you're like, all right, and this is where I'm hoping it leads. So let's try to work towards that Jedi outcome. Let's see where we can go with that. Right. But that shorthand, Jedi intent and Jedi action, that's a big list. That's a long thing. Again, it's a big box. It's a box, but it's a big box. And to know what Jedi action is, to know what Jedi intent is, that's the point of the training. That's the years, is to learn that, to know that, and then know how that applies. And to know when, a failure, if it's a failure or not. Like, I think people get caught up in those kind of words. So Into the Dark has been really fun so far. I really enjoy it. I identify pretty well with the main character so far. Again, what I assume to be the main character. Um, yeah, I enjoy it. The beginning thing. It's specified he's not a great force wielder. That's not his bag. That's not his just not who he is. And he's known that and recognized that for a long time. Also, this one too deals with something similar with a Jedi Padawan who kind of feels out of place and doesn't feel like the hero, but wants to be. He does want to be the swashbuckling Jedi Knight that's out there saving the galaxy, but feels inadequate to do so, and feels like no one ever believed he could, and things like that, and deals with self-doubt, right? So that's also, again, another good one. Let's see. Commit to your mistakes and learn from them. Commit to your mistakes, absolutely. And that's all it is. It's reflection. It's taking the time to stop, and if you feel something's gone, if you feel you may, like, where did you go wrong? Again, the Jedi method is also a good reflection tool, because you can be like, what was the Jedi intent there? What was the Jedi action? What were my intents? What were my actions? Is that why we don't have, that Jedi outcome that I wanted or hoped for, or things like that? Sometimes you do Jedi intent, Jedi action, you don't get the outcome that you want, or the outcome you thought you would get. Doesn't always necessarily mean it's not the Jedi outcome, though. So it's reflection. Absolutely, commit to your mistakes, reflect. You can't move backwards. you just can't. All you can do is learn and grow and be better and move forward due to that, right? Again, that is actually in here. So, A Test of Courage is out of stock on Amazon. Oh, no, man. BarnesandNobles.com. Try there. Or, I don't know, any online retailer, really. Books, what's that? Bookstoreonline.com, I think. I forget. I'd have to look it up. But it's, yeah, if you can find it. It sucks that it's out of stock, though, on Amazon. It's a quick read. It's easy read. And I found it, it's kind of fun. It's kind of interesting. There's the cringe moments, but again, I'm not the target audience. And sometimes reading about teenagers being, awkward teenagers, which is just life, just reminds you of how you grew up. Sometimes you're like, that hits a little too close to home. I don't want to, talk about how we are not judged by mistakes we make, but rather how we address and recover them. Thrift books might have it. Yeah, check out. It's all about checking out. Hopefully, you can find it somewhere. Hopefully, they make more of them or get them in stock. It might be just because of, like, hardcover. They might be coming out with the paperback or something soon. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. You know how companies get, so with their money. So was so here's I'm gonna read a quote, this Jedi quote, but I think I've already posted this on Facebook. So this might, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not. Oh yeah, this there's a second part of this quote is gonna be a spoiler. First part not. So I'll say the first part, and then if you want to mute it, I'll let you know. I'll wave when I'm done. Okay. So we'll begin this quote. Recognizing our mistakes and doing better is the path of a Jedi. To go back to what we were talking about, right? Recognizing our mistakes and doing better is the path of a Jedi. Spoiler, so mute it, right? Mute it. The Jedi Order isn't going to kick you out for a single mistake. It just doesn't work that way. Okay. That you can unmute. But it talks that directly relates to what we were talking about mistakes and growing forward. And I think it's an important message. Raise your hand. Yeah, you're fine. You can talk. Blah, blah, blah. There you go. You can unmute. Okay. Yeah, you're good. But it just talks about like the mistakes that you know we make. It happens. We make mistakes, and dealing with that is part of the Jedi path. And as we said, so in conclusion of the actual topic, I am enjoying the High Republic series. I've always enjoyed that era. When people talk about like what era of Jedi, they're always like, what era would you be in? And a lot of people used to choose is the Old Republic era. And I was always like, I'll take the golden era of the Jedi, which is, now it's the High Republic. So I'll take the High Republic era of the Jedi because I always just like that. I like the temples and I like the order and I like that. So I'm very Obi-Wan Kenobi in that, like I dig the Jedi. That is my passion, So I'm enjoying it and I'm enjoying the glimpse into it. There's things I have questions with. There's things that I don't like. I have dug into this a bit deeper beyond just reading it because I've had to dig into it because of Jedi Wayseekers. And that's something we're probably going to need to get into. But I got a video coming out on a similar subject. But I've been enjoying them. I do recommend them. I do have my own little gripes here and there. So I imagine you'll have your own little gripes here and there. But I feel overall they're good books. They're entertaining so far. It's been a fun ride so far. I'm not really a fan of this stretching out a storyline across multiple media. I'm really not a fan of that. I like resolution as my thing. And that's the thing for all these books, while individual stories kind of have resolutions, there's an overarching storyline that's taking place through all of them. And those things are not resolved. And won't be resolved, I imagine, until all the media is done and comes together. And I'm not a fan of that. But again, you don't when you finish this book, you're not like left with a bunch of loose ends from it. There's some things there's continuing storylines within it, but the story itself has resolved. This one is the most open-ended, but again, it's the foundational piece meant to spread everything out. So I'm not really a fan of that, but at the same time, like, I get it. It's good for the bottom line of the company. but I like the era. I'm enjoying the books. I'm enjoying the novels, and I'll probably dig into the other media later. But so not a fan of that. But at the same time, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the ride. I'm enjoying the story so far. I'm enjoying the glimpse into the Jedi way and how it's kind of done so far. So all of that. So that would be my recommendation. Um, Sidebar: are you taking more questions for Jedi versus Society for later videos today? Yeah, questions are always open for Jedi versus Society. So, like, even if you want to go back to an old video and drop a comment or a question or something like that, or yeah, that's always open. That is participation driven. So that series will only continue for as long as we have questions. If y'all are done with questions, that series will go bye bye. I'm not going to be making videos of my own accord for it. That is purely things. So yeah, any questions you have, things like that. So and also, if you have questions now or just general chit chat stuff that you want to talk about, we've been sidebarring and meandering all through this anyways, as happens, because that's how my brain works anyhow. So so yeah, I think it makes it ideal to rather than escapism. Mm-hmm. Dystopian, the living through. I mean, there's still problems with it, like, I mean, any, politics, anything like that is always going to have its thing. Let's see. World betterment part of the Jedi path includes working towards a more just and equitable society. Is a good aspiration. It is. So yeah. So I recommend the books. I recommend the novels. Again, if you're gonna start, you kind of you should start with Light of the Jedi. But you really don't need it for this one. While there's some things that you will understand the context of this book better, it's not technically necessary. It's technically not necessary. It provides context, but this stands alone on its own. This one stands alone pretty well on its own. This one is definitely your foundational, and it jumps between all sorts of different Jedi, doing all sorts of different things, and setting up your overall quote unquote threat to the galaxy and all that stuff. And then as I said, I haven't really gotten too far into this. I've jumped around a little bit to look up certain stuff because conversation topics have come up around it. But and there are some things that happen there that affect this. But again, so far it feels more context driven, that you could still read this and it's just more context driven. It still feels self-containing. These books still feel self-contained, that you don't necessarily have to read one to understand the other. So so that's what I think. And again, I'm happy for that, because this idea that this overall arcing storyline that's taking place, the idea that you have to buy everything to understand what's going on and to reach some sort of resolution would grate my cheese even more. So yeah. So recommend it. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Is there a good place to start with the books? Not just these three, but like overall. Depends what you're looking for, really. It really depends what you're looking for. There's certain books that I liked. Most of the books, yeah, it really depends what you're looking for. Master and Apprentice is a good one. Dooku Lost Jedi is not bad. These are the canon books. Those are canon books. So if you're looking for books, it really depends what you're looking for. So if you're looking for canon, these are good. Master and Apprentice is good. The Ahsoka book is good. If you're more interested in story or like Jedi philosophy, like if you want like Jedi philosophy, because I did do a video of top 5 legends books for Jedi philosophy, and that video is on our YouTube. I'm sure you can find it. I'm sure you can look it up. And the number one book there, spoiler alert, the number one book on that video is Shatterpoint by Matthew Stover, if I remember correctly. And that one's follows Mace Windu, but it's a really good book for digging into Jedi philosophy and Jedi concepts and application in tougher times. There's stuff I don't agree with in the book, and there's stuff that's fictional driven and things like that. But it is, and again, it's a self-contained story, and it takes place during the Clone Wars. And but it's good. Like, it's good. It deals with a lot of stuff that, you know, that I think resonates with Jedi today, with Jediism, or you know, the struggles that Jedi have. So I highly recommend Shatterpoint because of that. But there's other ones, you know, my personal favorites. If I'm going to recommend a series of books to start and to just enjoy, if you just want to enjoy some Star Wars books with Jedi, with the Jedi in them, Coruscant Night series. Technically, there's 4 books. There's only 3 in the series. Coruscant Nights 1, 2, and 3, and they each have different titles. But the Coruscant Night series, and then that ends with a book that was called The Last Jedi, and of course this is before Disney was around. And in the book The Last Jedi is the 4th book, and it continues that the characters from that series, and kind of like resolves that series, and I like that one. So those 4 books are my personal favorite. So jumping in there. But if you're looking to jump in here, basically I would go from here, you know, because this is your foundational piece. If you can get through it. It took me a while. This one took me a while to get through. But again, that's mostly writing style. That's mostly writing style and things of that nature. And the jumping around, it's just not my favorite way of doing things, that it doesn't focus on a particular Jedi or person or thing, but like it's an event. So it focuses on an event. So you dealing with all the people that have to deal with that, and you're jumping between all these different people who have to deal with this event. So, so makes sense again from a writing literary standpoint. It's just not my personal things. Actually, I feel like after that, that's just preference. You know, again, this is not, you know, I'm not the demographic, but I enjoyed it, and I felt it had some good messages and some good Jedi lessons in there. So, welcome from Germany. May the force be with you, Saw. Or Seeker. May the force be with you, Seeker. So yeah, I don't know if there's an actual good place to start with the novels. It's really preference based. Truly, it's again, like if someone was coming to me just like to jump in, like they wanted, like I just want like maybe 3 or 4 novels to get me started to see if I like it, I'll probably point them, or I would make note that my personal favorite is the Coruscant Night series, and then. If you're looking to jump into this, then of course Light of the Jedi is a good one, and then I don't know, Master or Apprentice. But I also really like the Jedi Apprentice series. Those are really easy and fun to get through. That's a demographic that's way not meant for me. That's definitely meant for a way younger audience. I don't even know if you can find those anymore though. I'm pretty sure they're out of print. I don't know. I'm looking at all my books over here. It's really preference. It's really preference driven. Yeah, truly. Just depends what you're looking for. Really depends what you're looking for, what you're hoping to get out of it. You know, if you're just looking for a fun story, you know, or if you're looking for Jedi philosophy or Jedi lessons or things you can dig into, or if you're like me and you like to highlight books and stuff like that, which I know for some people is like, ooh, heresy. But so it really depends. Like I'll show as an example. Like I'm just getting into this one, and like I got all sorts of notes already like going for it. So yeah, it really depends on what you like. So any other questions, comments, concerns, topics of interest, anything like that, let me know if there's anything. We've been here for an hour. I've been rambling for an hour. So is there anything else? Dear Jedi. Does not seem so. Or, well, maybe people are typing. I don't know how long it takes to type. Some people are very quick typers. Some people are not. So we will give it a little bit. Anybody with me? Raising hands? Anyone? I cry for your books, but as an avid learner and student, I applaud the use of highlighters. Yeah. Well, yep. But I'm also a person who, so I get that. I do. But when I buy, like, so I bought like some really old books, like really old books. And what I like though is that sometimes you get those books. The reason why they're cheap and why I can buy these old books that would probably normally be much more is because, well, they're not like in perfect condition, but there's writing in them. Ah, blasphemy. People have like taken a pencil and underlined words and things like that, or written in the margin. I feel like some people feel that devalues a book and that brings it down. I'm like, I'm getting two books for the price of one, because not only am I getting that, but I'm getting someone else's like, ideas and concepts and things that they felt were important, and things that resonated with them, and ideas. And so, like, yeah, I get it, but I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Let's see. I would go with probably like the waterfall, like a waterfall meditation, or the idea. It's like a visualization technique, basically. When you're feeling emotions and or releasing emotions and attachments, what you do is whatever meditation position works for you, whatever your preferred, whether you're standing, sitting, lying down, anything like that. And basically, what you do is you visualize, and it can be water, light, something like that. But you bring up the emotion, you bring up the feeling, you bring up the attachment, and you let it come to your mind as you're meditating. You let yourself ruminate on it. You let yourself like bring it up, like, what am I feeling? Why am I feeling? Like, you sit with it, right? You bring it all up, to the surface, and then you envision whatever you want, like light or something like that, and that it flows, and it just, and then out through you, through your hands, through your feet, into the ground. It just out and dissipates, and just, and you do that. And you can do it in cycle with your breathing if you're really good with that, or you just continue that. You bring it out, and you're like, and then you kind of like shake it off. You shake off that residual, right? And that, if you get good at it, you can do that once and be good. Like, I'm really mad right now, and you bring it up, you visualize it, and you just, okay, all right, okay, all right, back to it. Or you just continue. If you're doing a meditation session, you just do the same thing. Now, how does it most, like, if we relate that back, there's even in these books, but there's other books where they talk about allowing your, especially Qui-Gon will talk about allowing your emotions to flow through you, like as in and out, and just doing. So basically, that's the real world version of that. Is we're just using kind of like a visualization technique, where we bring it up and then let it go, and then the idea, the waterfall, the light, whatever you envision, flooding through you, over you, washing it all away. That's the force, right? That's the universal, that's the cosmic force. That's the energy that binds the galaxy together. And it's just taking it and releasing it of you and from you. And so you just do that. And And then eventually you continue to do that, you continue to work on that, you continue to practice that, and then eventually you'll get more than enough to be in a situation where you feel something, you're like, and poof, poof, you feel it, and you're allowed to feel it, right? That's important. It's equanimity. That's why you sit with it. That's why you bring it up, to understand like this is a part of you. There's a reason for it. Like, this is information. Your emotions are informational tools. Sometimes that information is, hey, your brain is producing chemicals it really doesn't need to, but that's still information. It's still good to know, right? So it's about acknowledging, accepting, feeling, and then, okay, I got it. All right, this is good. I know what I'm doing. And then you let go, and then you see. At least you ain't dog earing pages. I have to fight you for that. You'd have to fight my younger self. Oh, I used to do that. Not a lot, in fact, because I didn't like it. I didn't like what it did to the books. But there's books. I have ones from my teenager years where there's dog eared things. But I didn't like it. So more than not, what you'll see is actually like just random slots of paper or receipts or something like that, like throughout the book. It's only been a few years since I started actually moving to highlighters, because it's very specific. When just a paper receipts on a page and there's like 20 throughout the book, you kind of have to read all the pages to try to get, and then try to go back to, all right, what stood out to me at that time. I have done it when I was younger. When I was younger, I don't do it anymore. No. But yeah, that's why I moved to highlighters these days. Just meditation, it's a constant one. I found it helpful to meditate in places where things are going on or busy, and has helped me find peace during chaos. Absolutely. I think the mistake a lot of people think is that meditation or peace or whatever has to be attained in a quiet, serene environment. And that's not really how life works. Like, it's really easy to find peace and serenity when you're in a soundproof meditation room, or when you're out in the middle of the woods, in the middle of nowhere, and there's nothing around. Like, it's really easy to connect to the force or whatever, the Zoe or whatever you call it, when you're out in that situation. It's much more easy. But as Jedi, we don't really have that luxury. You have to deal with life, and you have to find that ocean of calm within, and you have to develop that, and and again, that's just constant practice. You work on it as much as you can. But yeah, and loud things. Where I meditate, every once in a while, I'll go up on I go up to a hill by my neighborhood, and I'll go up there for meditation, and you hear everything. You hear, it sits and overlooks all the neighborhoods in my area, and you hear, dogs, lawnmowers, cars, kids playing in the street. You'll hear that, you hear that stuff, and it's part of it. It's life. It's part of the force. It's part of the flow of life. It's all connected. And so, yeah, it should be, finding peace in that is a valuable tool. So I support that. Absolutely. It's what I'm here for. Help each other out. We're all in this together. We're all, we're all Jedi in the trenches. We're all just peers. We're all just trying to be Jedi in everyday life. That's all it all comes down to. Underlined books look well studied. Yeah. If there's a book over here, it's my Bruce Lee's Tao of Jeet Kune Do. And I have 2 copies now. I have they came out with I think it was a 20-year anniversary or something like that edition. That's all hardcover and nice, and that thing's pristine. But you look at the one that I picked up from Barnes and Nobles when I was 16 years old or something, and that thing is wrecked. That thing is, I'm sorry, it's well studied. It is well studied. Books, books are meant to be read. I am a person of utility, in the sense of, if if a book looks absolutely pristine, that means I read it once and put it back on the shelf. And yeah, like, so a lot of my fiction books like look like that. Like over here we got California Bones, right? Okay, so it's hard cover. If you took that off the shelf, you wouldn't, yeah, you'd be like, I don't even know if this was right. But I read it, I liked it, but you know, it was just a fiction book that I read, I enjoyed, read it once, put it back on. I'm not a person that likes to read fiction books over and over again. Hence why I also moved to highlighters for these, because as much as I might enjoy this story, I'm not someone who will read an entire book all over again. But you know, if I want to get back into the Jedi stuff, or pick out the Jedi stuff, it's easy to like boom, highlighter and go from there. So I get it. Yeah. Like reading on the Kindle is the ability to electronically highlight and take notes in a book without damaging anything. Yeah, everybody has their own, you know, thing on books. I'm like, it was meant to be used. It's like a sweatshirt. It's like a t-shirt. You know, it's like a, you know, sweatshirt. What's the point of having it if you're not going to use it? You know what I mean? Like that's me. I know not everybody feels that way. One of my favorite meditations is still one of yours that has layered whispers, similar to the concept of what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not sure which one. Maybe like the Jedi Code. I know there was a couple of them that I did because I was enjoying like ASMR at the time, like certain ones for meditation purposes, and yeah, so I tried to put together one. I don't know if it worked out, but I'm glad. I actually glad. So I'm glad you liked it because yeah, there's more going on. So yeah, it's all connected. It's all fun. It's all good. It's all good. At first, the mind will struggle to pick out and understand the whispers. Eventually, they settle into the background, and my mind goes into a great. See, that works. I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad to hear that. That works. See, good, awesome. That means it was worthwhile. That means it was worthwhile. It was worth the effort. Because it did take a lot of effort to make that video. My setup is not professional at all. So I'm glad it works. And yeah, it's the same thing. Like it's about, you know, it's about connecting with everything, and then yeah, allowing the mind to, because you're focusing, you know, focus is kind of like the core essence of meditation. And so you want the conscious mind to kind of have something to focus on while you allow that subconscious to relax and to come into being and kind of like, you know, connect with the rest of the world, you know, connect with the universe, if you will. So yeah. All right. Any more questions, comments, concerns, either about the High Republic or about Jediism or about anything of that nature? Anything of that nature. Y'all are hanging out for over an hour. Who's watching the Super Bowl? Anybody? Nah, me neither. All right. Giving it time. Allowing you to type it out. Any hands? Any hands? I think we're all just hanging out now. Yep. Fair enough. Y'all can do that on your own time. I got books to read. I'm still working on videos, so we'll summarize here. Or, well, I already did the summaries of the book, so we're not going to talk about that. But I am working on more videos. I am making more videos to get to your questions on Jedi versus Society. I think I have 4 questions to still make videos on. I already have a couple videos filmed and scheduled. One is on job motivation. One is on education. And then we have some more that go through makeup, diet, and there's another one. I'll have to look it up. That will do. So we still have those coming. And then hopefully I can get and there is a immersive meditation role play that I really don't like. That's scheduled and coming out on Monday. So so one of those videos is absolutely, and that was a pain in the butt to make too. And that's I don't like it, but it was a pain in the butt to make. So that's the reason why I'm like, we're uploading it. We're uploading it because too much effort to just toss it out. So we commit to our mistakes, right? Uh, so yeah, so that's it. So we got more stuff coming. We're still going. Again, I want to thank everybody, whether you're watching now or watching later. I want to thank you for your support and your comments and your questions and all of that. You guys make it possible, just so you know. But yeah, I appreciate that, and I appreciate you. And we will continue to grow this channel together and throw some stuff out there, make some Jedi stuff, make some Jedi meditations, and continue to go. Your input, as always, is valuable, makes a difference. So, absolutely, that's what I'm happy to take up your time. Yeah. Thank you so much. Lots of info about the books and a lot more. Spoiler free. We can always get into spoiler reviews much further down the line. So we'll do that. Can't wait to see the rest of the Jedi First Society videos. Yep. Again, if you guys have questions or comments, concerns, you can always throw those in the comments of any of our videos, and we'll continue that series. Good to see you too. Off to do other stuff. Have a great day, everybody. Everybody, have a great day. Greetings from Germany. Germany making an appearance. I appreciate you, Germany. Thank you for joining us and being a part. It is appreciated. Excellent, Charlie. Glad to hear that. Take care of yourself. Have fun. Go do some fun stuff. Play some video games. Burn down some villages. Do whatever makes you happy. Love the way you play. It's, we are committed to our mistakes. No. Yeah, I mean, dedicated my life for a long time to it. So I am happy. I'm happy it makes that other people enjoy it, aren't on the journey with me. I'm glad we're all in this together and we're all going and having fun. All right, everybody, go have fun. Go get out of here. Go do something with your day, whatever makes you happy. Whatever makes you happy. Be a Jedi, all that good stuff. May the Force be with you. Always remember to end the broadcast while I'm still talking, so there's not like 20 seconds of me just talking.